Day 266. Luke 4. 1. But Yeshua, being full of the Spirit of holiness, returned from the Jordan, and the Spirit led him into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil for 40 days, and he ate nothing in those days, and when he had finished them, at the end he was hungry. 3. And the devil said to him, If you are the Son of Jehovah, tell this stone to become bread. 4. Yeshua answered and said to him, It is written. A man does not live by bread alone, but by every utterance of Jehovah. 5. And Satan took him up to a high mountain, and he showed him all the kingdoms of the earth in a short time. 6. And the devil said to him, I shall give you all this dominion and its glory, for it is delivered to me, and I give it to whomever I want. 7. If therefore you will worship before me, it will all be yours. 8. Yeshua answered and said to him, It is written. You shall worship Elo-heem Yehovah your Jehovah, and him only you shall serve. 9. And he brought him to Jerusalem, and he stood him on the pinnacle of the temple, and he said to him, If you are the Son of Jehovah, cast yourself down from here. 10. For it is written. He will command his angels concerning you that they will protect you. 11. And they will carry you upon their arms, lest you should strike your foot on a stone. 12. But Yeshua answered and he said to him, It has been said, You shall not tempt Elo-heem Yehovah your Jehovah. 13. And when the devil had finished all his temptations, he departed from his presence for a time. 14. And Yeshua returned in the power of the Spirit to Galilee, and a report went out about him in every place around them. 15. And he was teaching in their assemblies, and he was being praised by every person. 16. And he came to Nazareth where he had been raised, and as he was accustomed, he entered the synagogue on the Sabbath day, and he stood up to read. 17. And the scroll of Isaiah the prophet was given to him, and Yeshua opened the scroll, and he found the place where it is written. 18. The Spirit of Elo-heem Yehovah is upon me, and because of this he has anointed me to preach the good news to the poor. He has sent me to heal broken hearts, and to proclaim liberty to captives, vision to the blind, and to restore the crushed with forgiveness. 19. And to proclaim the acceptable era of Elo-heem Yehovah. 20. And he rolled up the scroll and he gave it to the minister, and he went and sat down, but all who were in the synagogue fixed their eyes upon him. 21. And he began to say to them, Today this scripture is fulfilled in your ears. 22. And all of them were testifying to it, and they were amazed at the words of grace that came out of his mouth. And they were saying, Is not this Joseph's son? 23. Yeshua said to them, Doubtless you will say to me this proverb. Physician, heal yourself, and everything that we are hearing that you have done in Capernaum, do also here in your town. 24. But he said, Assuredly, I say to you, there is not a prophet who is received in his town. 25. For truly I say to you that many widows were in Israel in the days of Elijah the prophet, when the heavens were shut for 3 years and 6 months, and there was great hunger in all the land. 26. And Elijah was not sent to one of them except at Sarepta of Sidon unto a widow woman. 27. And there were many lepers among Israel in the days of Elisha the prophet, and not one of them was purified except Naaman the Syrian. 28. And when they who were in the synagogue heard these things, they were all filled with rage. 29. And they arose and they thrust him outside of the city, and they brought him unto the ridge of the mountain on which the city was built to cast him from the precipice. 30. But he passed through the midst of them and he departed. 31. And he went down to Capernaum, a city of Galilee, and he was teaching them on the Sabbath. 32. And they were astonished at his teaching, for his message was with authority. 33. And there was a man in the synagogue who had spirits of filthy demons in him, and he cried with a loud voice. 34. And he said, Let us alone. What business do we have with you, Yeshua Nazarene? Have you come to destroy us? I know you, who you are, the Holy One of Jehovah. 35. And Yeshua rebuked it, and he said, Shut your mouth and come out of him. And the demon threw him in the midst, and it came out from him, well it did him no harm. 36. And great astonishment gripped everyone, and they were speaking with one another, and they were saying, What indeed is this message? For with authority and with power he commands the foul spirits, and they come out. 37. And a report about him went out into the whole region that was around them. 38. And when Yeshua went out from the synagogue, he entered the house of Shimeon, and Shimeon's mother-in-law was afflicted with a great fever, and they besought him for her sake. 39. And he stood over her and rebuked her fever, and it left her, and at once she arose, and she was waiting on them. 40. But the sun was setting, and they brought to him all of those who were very ill with various diseases, and he laid his hand on each one of them and healed them. 41. And many demons were going out from many as they screamed, and they were saying, You are the Messiah, the Son of Jehovah. And he was rebuking them, and he was not allowing them to say that they knew that he was the Messiah. 42. And at daybreak he went out by himself to a deserted place, and the crowds were seeking him and came to his place, and they held to him that he would not depart from them. 43. But Yeshua said to them, I must proclaim the kingdom of Yehovah to other cities also, it is for this I am sent. 44. And he was preaching in the synagogues of Galilee. Hebrews 10. 1. For the written law had a shadow in it of good things that were coming. It was not the essence of those matters, because of this, while they were offering those sacrifices every year, they could never perfect those who offered them. 2. For if they had perfected them, doubtless, they would have ceased from their offerings, because their conscience would not have been buffeted by sin once they had themselves been purged. 3. But by those sacrifices they remember their sins every year. 4. For the blood of oxen and of yearling goats cannot purge sins. 5. Because of this, when he entered the universe, he said, sacrifices and offerings you did not want, but you have clothed me with a body. 6. And burnt peace offerings for sins you have not demanded. 7. And I said, behold, I come, because in the beginning of the writings it is written of me, to do your will, O Yehovah. 8. Above, he said, sacrifices and offerings and burnt peace offerings for sins you did not want, those that were offered were by the written law. 9. And afterward he said, behold, I have come to do your will, O Yehovah. In this he abolishes the first to establish the second. 10. For in this, his will, we are made holy in the offering of the body of Yeshua the Messiah, once. 11. For every high priest who has stood and served those with those sacrifices every day was offering those things which were never able to purge sins. 12. But this one offered one sacrifice for the sake of sins, and he sat down at the right side of Yehovah for eternity. 13. And he waits from then on until his enemies are put as a footstool under his feet. 14. For by one offering he has perfected those who are sanctified by him for eternity. 15. But the Spirit of holiness also testifies to us, who says, 16. This is the covenant that I shall give them after those days, says Elo-heem Yehovah. I shall put my law into their minds, and I shall write it upon their hearts. 17. And their evils and their sins I shall not remember. 18. But where there is forgiveness of sins, no offering for sins is needed. 19. Therefore, brethren, we have boldness in the entrance of the holy place by the blood of Yeshua. 20. And the way of the life who made us new is now within the veil which is his flesh. 21. And we have the high priest over the house of Yehovah. 22. Let us approach therefore with a true heart and the confidence of faith, while our hearts are sprinkled and purified from a wicked conscience, and having bathed our bodies in pure water. 23. And let us grasp firmly the confession of our hope and not waver, for he who has promised us is faithful. 24. And let us pay attention to one another in the encouragement of love and of good works. 25. And we should not be forsaking our meetings, as is the custom for each person, but plead with one another all the more, as long as you see that day drawing near. 26. For if a man shall sin by his will after receiving the knowledge of the truth, there is no sacrifice to be offered afterward for sins. 27. But that terrible judgment is ready and the zeal of fire which consumes the enemies. 28. For if any violated the law of Moses, he would die without mercy by the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. 29. How much more do you think he will receive capital punishment, he who has trampled upon the Son of Yehovah, and esteemed the blood of his covenant, to be like that of every person, who also was made holy by it, and he has despised the Spirit of grace. 30. For we know him who said, vengeance is mine, and I shall give payment. And again, Elo-heem Yehovah will judge his people. 31. It is very terrible to fall into the hands of the living Yehovah. 32. Remember therefore the first days in which you received baptism and endured a great contest of suffering with reproach and affliction. 33. And you became a spectacle, and you were also made associates with people who endured these things. 34. And you were grieved concerning those who were imprisoned, and you endured with joy the robbery of your possessions, because you know you have a possession in heaven which is greater and does not pass away. 35. Therefore do not throw away the boldness which you have, for a great reward is coming for it. 36. For you must have patience to do the will of Yehovah and receive the promise. 37. Because there is little time, and very little, when he who is coming will come and will not delay. 38. But the righteous one shall live by my faith, and if he gives it up, my soul is not pleased with him. 39. But we are not of despondency which leads to destruction, but of the faith that imparts to us our soul. Numbers 18. 1. And Elohim spoke to Aaron, saying, Thou and thy sons and thy father's house shall bear the sins of the holy things, and thou and thy sons shall bear the iniquity of your priesthood. 2. And take to thyself thy brethren the tribe of Levi, the family of thy father, and let them be joined to thee, and let them minister to thee, and thou and thy sons with thee shall minister before the tabernacle of witness. 3. And they shall keep thy charges, and the charges of the tabernacle, only they shall not approach the holy vessels and the altar, so both they and you shall not die. 4. And they shall be joined to thee, and shall keep the charges of the tabernacle of witness, in all the services of the tabernacle, and a stranger shall not approach to thee. 5. And ye shall keep the charges of the holy things, and the charges of the altar, and so there shall not be anger among the children of Israel. 6. And I have taken your brethren the Levites out of the midst of the children of Israel, a present given to Elohim, to minister in the services of the tabernacle of witness. 7. And thou and thy sons after thee shall keep up your priestly ministration, according to the whole manner of the altar, and that which is within the veil, and ye shall minister in the services as the office of your priesthood, and the stranger that comes near shall die. 8. And Elohim said to Aaron, And, behold, I have given you the charge of the first fruits of all things consecrated to me by the children of Israel, and I have given them to thee as an honor, and to thy sons after thee for a perpetual ordinance. 9. And let this be to you from all the holy things that are consecrated to me, even the burnt offerings, from all their gifts, and from all their sacrifices, and from every trespass offering of theirs, and from all their sin offerings, whatever things they give to me of all their holy things, they shall be thine and thy sons. 10. In the most holy place shall ye eat them, every male shall eat them, thou and thy sons. They shall be holy to thee. 11. And this shall be to you of the first fruits of their gifts, of all the wave offerings of the children of Israel, to thee have I given them, and to thy sons and thy daughters with thee, a perpetual ordinance, every clean person in thy house shall eat them. 12. Every first offering of oil, and every first offering of wine, their first fruits of corn, whatsoever they may give to Elohim, to thee have I given them. 13. All the first fruits that are in their land, whatsoever they shall offer to Elohim, shall be thine. Every clean person in thy house shall eat them. 14. Every devoted thing among the children of Israel shall be thine. 15. And everything that opens the womb of all flesh, whatsoever they bring to Elohim, whether man or beast, shall be thine. Only the firstborn of men shall be surely redeemed, and thou shalt redeem the firstborn of unclean cattle. 16. And the redemption of them shall be from a month old, their valuation of 5 shekels, it is 20 oboli, according to the holy shekel. 17. But thou shalt not redeem the firstborn of calves and the firstborn of sheep and the firstborn of goats, they are holy. And thou shalt pour their blood upon the altar, and thou shalt offer the fat as a burnt offering for a smell of sweet savor to Elohim. 18. And the flesh shall be thine, as also the breast of the wave offering, and as the right shoulder, it shall be thine. 19. Every special offering of the holy things, whatsoever the children of Israel shall specially offer to Elohim, I have given to thee and to thy sons and to thy daughters with thee, a perpetual ordinance. It is a covenant of salt forever before Elohim, for thee and thy seed after thee. 20. And Elohim said to Aaron, Thou shalt have no inheritance in their land, neither shalt thou have any portion among them, for I am thy portion and thine inheritance in the midst of the children of Israel. 21. And, behold, I have given to the sons of Levi every tithe in Israel for an inheritance for their services, whereinsoever they perform ministry in the tabernacle of witness. 22. And the children of Israel shall no more draw nigh to the tabernacle of witness to incur fatal guilt. 23. And the Levite himself shall perform the service of the tabernacle of witness, and they shall bear their iniquities, it is a perpetual statute throughout their generations, and in the midst of the children of Israel, they shall not receive an inheritance. 24. Because I have given as a distinct portion to the Levites for an inheritance the tithes of the children of Israel, whatsoever they shall offer to Elohim, therefore I said to them, in the midst of the children of Israel, they shall have no inheritance. 25. And Elohim spoke to Moses, saying, 26. Thou shalt also speak to the Levites, and shalt say to them, If ye take the tithe from the children of Israel, which I have given you from them for an inheritance, then shall ye separate from it a heave offering to Elohim, a tenth of the tenth. 27. And your heave offerings shall be reckoned to you as corn from the floor, and an offering from the wine press. 28. So shall ye also separate them from all the offerings of Elohim out of all your tithes, whatsoever ye shall receive from the children of Israel, And ye shall give of them an offering to Elohim to Aaron the priest. 29. Of all your gifts ye shall offer an offering to Elohim, and of every first fruit the consecrated part from it. 30. And thou shalt say to them, when ye shall offer the first fruits from it, then shall it be reckoned to the Levites as produce from the threshing floor, and as produce from the wine press. 31. And ye shall eat it in any place, ye and your families, for this is your reward for your services in the tabernacle of witness. 32. And ye shall not bear sin by reason of it, for ye shall have offered an offering of first fruits from it, and ye shall not profane the holy things of the children of Israel, that ye die not. Jeremiah 48. 1. Thus has Elohim said concerning Moab, woe to Nabal, for it is perished. Kiriathaim is taken. Amath and Agath are put to shame. 2. There is no longer any healing for Moab nor glorying in Esabon. He has devised evils against her. We have cut her off from being a nation, and she shall be completely still. After thee shall go a sword. 3. For there is a voice of men crying out of Oro-heem, destruction and great ruin. 4. Moab is ruined, proclaim it to Zagor. 5. For Aloth is filled with weeping. One shall go up weeping by the way of Oro-heem, ye have heard a cry of destruction. 6. Flee, and save your lives, and ye shall be as a wild ass in the desert. 7. Since thou hast trusted in thy stronghold, therefore thou shalt be taken. And Chamos shall go forth into captivity, and his priests, and his princes together. 8. And destruction shall come upon every city, it shall by no means escape, the valley also shall perish, and the plain country shall be completely destroyed, as Elohim has said. 9. Set marks upon Moab, for she shall be touched with a plague spot, and all her cities shall become desolate, whence shall there be an inhabitant for her? 10. Cursed is the man that does the works of Elohim carelessly, keeping back his sword from blood. 11. Moab has been at ease from a child, and trusted in his glory. He has not poured out his liquor from vessel to vessel, and has not gone into banishment, therefore his taste remained in him, and his smell departed not. 12. Therefore, behold, his days come, saith Elohim, when I shall send upon him bad leaders, and they shall lead him astray, and they shall utterly break in pieces his possessions, and shall cut his horns asunder. 13. And Moab shall be ashamed of Chamos, as the house of Israel was ashamed of Bethel their hope, having trusted in them. 14. How will ye say, we are strong, and men strong for war? 15. Moab is ruined even his city, and his choice young men have gone down to slaughter. 16. The day of Moab is near at hand, and his iniquity moves swiftly to vengeance. 17. Shake the head at him, all ye that are round about him, all of you utter his name, say ye, how is the glorious staff broken to pieces, the rod of magnificence? 18. Come down from thy glory, and sit down in a damp place. Dibon shall be broken, because Moab is destroyed. There has gone up against thee one to ravage thy stronghold. 19. Stand by the way, and look, thou that dwellest in error, and ask him that is fleeing, and him that escapes, and say, what has happened? 20. Moab is put to shame, because he is broken. Howl and cry, proclaim in Arnon, that Moab has perished. 21. And judgment is coming against the land of Misor, upon Chelon, and Rephaz, and Maphaz. 22. And upon Dibon, and upon Nabal, and upon the house of Dithlathaim. 23. And upon Kiriathaim, and upon the house of Gimel, and upon the house of Man. 24. And upon Kerioth, and upon Bozer, and upon all the cities of Moab, far and near. 25. The horn of Moab is broken, and his arm is crushed. 26. Make ye him drunk, for he has magnified himself against Elohim. And Moab shall clap with his hand, and shall be also himself a laughing stock. 27. For surely Israel was to thee a laughing stock, and was found among thy thefts, because thou didst fight against him. 28. The inhabitants of Moab have left the cities, and dwelt in rocks, they have become as doves nestling in rocks, at the mouth of a cave. 29. And I have heard of the pride of Moab, he has greatly heightened his pride and his haughtiness, and his heart has been lifted up. 30. But I know his works. Is it not enough for him? Has he not done thus? 31. Therefore howl ye for Moab on all sides, cry out against the shore men in a gloomy place. I will weep for thee. 32. O vine of Asarima, as with the weeping of Jazer. Thy branches are gone over the sea, they reach the cities of Jazer. Destruction has come upon thy fruits and upon thy grape gatherers. 33. Joy and gladness have been utterly swept off the land of Moab. And though there was wine in thy presses, in the morning they trod it not, neither in the evening did they raise the cry of joy. 34. From the cry of Esabon even to Edom their cities uttered their voice, from Zogar to Oronaim, and their tidings as a heifer of 3 years old, for the water also of Nebron shall be dried up. 35. And I will destroy Moab, saith Elohim, as he comes up to the altar, and burns incense to his gods. 36. Therefore the heart of Moab shall sound as pipes, my heart shall sound as a pipe for the shorn men, forasmuch as what every man has gained has perished from him. 37. They shall all have their heads shaved in every place, and every beard shall be shaved, and all hands shall beat the breasts, and on all loins shall be sackcloth. 38. And on all the housetops of Moab, and in his streets shall be mourning. For I have broken him, saith Elohim, as a vessel, which is useless. 39. How has he changed? How has Moab turned his back? Moab is put to shame, and become a laughing stock, and an object of anger to all that are round about him. 40. For thus said Elohim. 41. Kiriath is taken, and the strongholds have been taken together. 42. And Moab shall perish from being a multitude, because he has magnified himself against Elohim. 43. A snare and fear and the pit are upon thee, O inhabitant of Moab. 44. He that flees from the terror shall fall into the pit, and he that comes up out of the pit shall even be taken in the snare. For I will bring these things upon Moab in the year of their visitation. Jeremiah 49:1. Concerning the sons of Ammon thus saith Elohim, are there no sons in Israel? Or have they no one to succeed them? Wherefore has Melchal inherited Galad, and why shall their people dwell in their cities? 2. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith Elohim, when I will cause to be heard in Rabbath a tumult of wars, and they shall become a waste and ruined place, and her altars shall be burned with fire, then shall Israel succeed to his dominion. 3. Howl, O Esabon, for Guy has perished, cry, ye daughters of Rabbath, gird yourselves with sackcloths, and lament, for Melchal shall go into banishment, his priests and his princes together. 4. Why do ye exult in the plains of the Anakim, thou haughty daughter, that trustest in thy treasures, that sayest, who shall come into me? 5. Behold, I will bring terror upon thee, saith Elohim, from all the country round about thee, and ye shall be scattered every one right before him, and there is none to gather you. 7. Concerning Idumea, thus saith the Elohim, there is no longer wisdom in Theman, counsel has perished from the wise ones, their wisdom is gone. 8. Their place has been deceived. Dig deep for a dwelling, ye that inhabit Edom, for he has wrought grievously. I brought trouble upon him in the time at which I visited him. 9. For grape gatherers are come, who shall not leave thee a remnant, as thieves by night, they shall lay their hand upon thy possessions. 10. For I have stripped Esed, I have uncovered their secret places, they shall have no power to hide themselves, they have perished each by the hand of his brother, my neighbor, and it is impossible. 11. For thy fatherless one to be left to live, but I shall live, and the widows trust in me. 12. For thus saith Elohim, they who were not appointed to drink the cup have drunk it, and thou shalt by no means be cleared. 13. For by myself I have sworn, saith Elohim, that thou shalt be in the midst of her an impassable land, and a reproach and a curse, and all her cities shall be desert forever. 14. I have heard a report from the Lord, and he has sent messengers to the nations saying assemble yourselves, and come against her, rise ye up to war. 15. I have made thee small among the nations, utterly contemptible among men. 16. Thine insolence has risen up against thee, the fierceness of thine heart has burst the holes of the rocks, it is seized upon the strength of a lofty hill, for as an eagle he set his nest on high. Thence will I bring thee down. 17. And Idumea shall be a desert. Every one that passes by shall hiss at it. 18. As Sodom was overthrown and Gomorrah, and they that sojourn in her, saith Elohim Almighty, no man shall dwell there, nor shall any son of man inhabit there. 19. Behold, he shall come up as a lion out of the midst of Jordan to the place of Etham. For I will speedily drive them from it, and ye set the young men against her. For who is like me? And who will withstand me? And who is this shepherd, who shall confront me? 20. Therefore hear ye the counsel of Elohim, which he has framed against Idumea, and his device, which he has devised against the inhabitants of Theman. Surely the least of the sheep shall be swept off, surely their dwelling shall be made desolate for them. 21. For at the sound of their fall the earth was scared, and the cry of the sea was not heard. 22. Behold, he shall look upon her as an eagle, and spread forth his wings over her strongholds, and the heart of the mighty men of Idumea shall be in that day as the heart of a woman in her pangs. 23. Concerning Damascus. Emath is brought to shame, and Arphath. For they have heard an evil report. They are amazed, they are angry, they shall be utterly unable to rest. 24. Damascus is utterly weakened, she is put to flight, trembling has seized upon her. 25. How has she not left my city, they have loved the village. 26. Therefore shall the young men fall in thy streets, and all thy warriors shall fall, saith Elohim. 27. And I will kindle a fire in the wall of Damascus, and it shall devour the streets of the son of Adar. 28. Concerning Kedar the queen of the palace, whom Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon smote, thus saith Elohim, arise ye, and go up to Kedar, and fill the sons of Kedem. 29. They shall take their tents and their sheep, they shall take for themselves their garments, and all their baggage and their camels, and summon ye destruction against them from every side. 30. Flee, dig very deep for a dwelling place, ye that dwell in the palace, for the king of Babylon has framed a counsel, and devised a device against you. 31. Rise up, and go up against a nation settled and dwelling at ease, who have no doors, nor bolts, nor bars, who dwell alone. 32. And their camels shall be a spoil, and the multitude of their cattle shall be destroyed. And I will scatter them as chaff with every wind, having their hair cut about their foreheads, I will bring on their overthrow from all sides, saith Elohim. 33. And the palace shall be a resting place for ostriches, and desolate forever. No man shall abide there, and no son of man shall dwell there. 34. The prophecies of Jeremias against the nations of Elam. 35. Thus saith Elohim, the bow of Elam is broken, even the chief of their power. 36. And I will bring upon Elam the four winds from the four corners of heaven, and I will disperse them toward all these winds, and there shall be no nation to which they shall not come, even the outcasts of Elam. 37. And I will put them in fear before their enemies that seek their life, and I will bring evils upon them according to my great anger, and I will send forth my sword after them, until I have utterly destroyed them. 38. And I will set my throne in Elam, and will send forth thence king and rulers. 39. But it shall come to pass at the end of days, that I will turn the captivity of Elam, saith Elohim. Proverbs 2. 1. My son, if thou wilt receive the utterance of my commandment, and hide it with thee. 2. Thine ear shall hearken to wisdom, thou shalt also apply thine heart to understanding, and shalt apply it to the instruction of thy son. 3. For it thou shalt call to wisdom, and utter thy voice for understanding. 4. And if thou shalt seek it as silver, and search diligently for it as for treasures. 5. Then shalt thou understand the fear of Elohim, and find the knowledge of Jehovah. 6. For Elohim gives wisdom, and from his presence come knowledge and understanding. 7. And he treasures up salvation for them that walk uprightly. He will protect their way. 8. That he may guard the righteous ways. And he will preserve the way of them that fear him. 9. Then shalt thou understand righteousness and judgment, and shalt direct all thy course aright. 10. For if wisdom shall come into thine understanding, and discernment shall seem pleasing to thy soul. 11. Good counsel shall guard thee, and holy understanding shall keep thee. 12. To deliver thee from the evil way, and from the man that speaks nothing faithfully. 13. Alas for those who forsake right paths, to walk in ways of darkness. 14. Who rejoice in evils, and delight in wicked perverseness. 15. Whose paths are crooked, and their course is winding. 16. To remove thee far from the straight way, and to estrange thee from a righteous purpose. My son, let not evil counsel overtake thee. 17. Of her who has forsaken the instruction of her youth, and forgotten the covenant of Jehovah. 18. For she has fixed her house near death, and guided her wheels near Hades with the giants. 19. None that go by her shall return, neither shall they take hold of right paths, for they are not apprehended of the years of life. 20. For had they gone in good paths, they would have found the paths of righteousness easy. 21. For the upright shall dwell in the earth, and the holy shall be left behind in it. 22. The paths of the ungodly shall perish out of the earth, and transgressors shall be driven away from it.